I am at the border of Makueni and Machakos counties. I am in Makueni, at Mathemboni, the home of renowned writer and scholar, Professor David Maillu. He is passionate about cultural and spiritual values. He is a poet, an artist, a writer, and a great host. Well, I'm about to meet him. This is his home, and he's going to tell me more about this and also show me this particular beautiful premise. Come with me. How are you, Prof?
Fine.
Let me help you open this wider.
Yes.
How are you?
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
So this is Mathemboni?
This is Mathemboni.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is interesting.
It is interesting, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Yes. It's a very nice weather. Yes. We didn't have rains.
Yeah. But it looks like it's about to. The skies are getting,
let it come.
Yeah. So Mathemboni.
Yeah.
When you enter, the first thing you see is,
well, Mwanka, and you see the flag.
Yeah.
The flag is the African flag, the spiritual, the flag for African spirituality.
Right.
And then you have the Mwanka there. And the writings there are Mkuu wa Utakatifu wa Mwafrika, and then President of African Spirituality, which we promote here. Yes. And
so, Prof, what does the flag symbolize?
That flag is for African spirituality. The black stands for black people.
All right.
The red stands for the blood. We are born through shedding blood.
Yeah.
And the first food we eat on earth is milk, and it's white. So it's black, red and white. Yeah. Signs of African spirituality. Yes.
So that is Prof. Maillu's flag.
Well, I'm on behalf of Africa. I'm not. Yes, I designed it.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's good to see it.
Wonderful. Yeah. And I also understand you're big on growing trees and finding different species around your garden. You told me it's a botanical garden.
Yeah, it's a botanical garden. I collect plants of medicinal value and any other important plant, like this one. This one, which we call, in our mother tongue we call it mukulwa. Mukulwa, yes, is the only plant that Kamba people use in administering Kivitu, the oath. And the only one, and there is also a problem that many people don't know that if you use the stick in hitting either your cat or anything, it's very harmful. So it seems like this is a plant with a very unusual potency of some form. Yes. So this is the Pontium where I had delivered the lecture on witchcraft about two
this
years
is the one
ago. Yeah,
all right.
Yes, sitting there. If you are there, I can say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that is the picture. That is the statue of Syokimau. Yes.
Right, Prof. And I see there is a hut right at the entrance.
Yeah. That is my office.
Okay.
Where I meet people. The public place is called Thome. Thome, yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Thome is an open place.
Yeah. So that's where I'm assuming you receive your guests. And,
yes, like when you came, that is where if you come, that is the first place that I would like to meet you, and we talk and over a cup of tea. If we finish the business, then you can go.
Perfect. Now there's this beautiful sculpture in front of us.
The beautiful sculpture which I made. This is the legendary Syokimau, a prophetess who lived about over 150 years ago and predicted so many things which are now happening.
All right.
Yes, I did this physically from zero to where it is.
And what's the correlation between Syokimau, the lady and there's a train station called Syokimau.
Syokimau is the one who predicted that. She talked about seeing a huge monster snake moving from one lake to the other one, carrying people. And of course, now when you look at the train, which of course the British came and put, constructed the railway from Mombasa to Lake Victoria. Then it came to be, this is what it is. And then she talked about seeing seeing cows running in open places, hairless cows, and which today, of course, are cars. And so many other people and so many other things. And besides also talking about a new generation talking like birds, like now. We are not talking in your language, in your mother tongue. We are also talking in a foreign language. And so maybe she was talking about the Gen Z now we are talking about.
Wow. So most of our prophecies are coming to life. Yeah, maybe, Prof, we can continue. You just show me more of this beautiful home. Prof, I see another interesting piece over here. Can you tell me about this?
This is, when you look, there are seven, on top there are flags of the seven masters, colonial masters who colonized Africa. Beginning British is the highest there, and the others. And now this is the story of those guys came to Africa and saw an animal called Africa. They killed it with the guns and slaughtered that. So this is actually the skin. The skin is made there for drying, and the equipment they used, in display, the gun, of course, the binocular, you can see the axe, and the Bible, of course. Those were, the tools that they made, and this, in a way, it's just made to show a monument of what happened. Or other writers, other sculptors can do it in a different way. But this is the story.
And those are the actual flags of this?
Those are actually, they are, beginning from the British, the German, the French, the others. The seven of them are those good guys. And those, unfortunately, those flags have bleached. I would have to look for money to go and buy new ones for display. Yes, I do like looking at them. That is
very brilliant.
Very brilliant. I hope it says something to some people. Because
definitely it has.
The skin is still there. They are still processing, making shoes, making anything, and then, but we are not thinking much about that. And
unfortunately so.
Yes. May God help us.
Okay, Prof. Let's see some more interesting. Right, Prof. And I see a very interesting sculpture over there.
That is President Donald Trump shithole.
What about this particular sculpture, and even the name, which is very uncommon to be,
The thing is, this president, good as he may be or is, at one stage talked about, called black people nations from shithole countries. And that was a very big abuse to African integrity. So I thought of creating a pit hole, a shit hole. So I did that. So what you are seeing is actually the sculpture of the sculpture, and then there is the shit hole. And then there is the President Donald Trump.
So it was sort of a mockery response to what he said.
Well, he said it, so I have actually to say it. He can't withdraw it, and but really abusing the entire black race. That is, I can't imagine what kind of a human being he is. That is it's like killing so many of them. And but then there are black people under his administration.
And so, Prof, you're saying there's an actual washroom behind this sculpture?
There is a toilet or a shit hole. And there are actually two, one for men and one for women. And so at least I welcome the community or anyone interested in having a good time here.
Yes. Ah, wow, interesting, Prof.
Yes. Okay, yes.
So this is the hut.
This is the traditional hut. Which was made of grass and wood, and this is a modernized version. Yes, and trying to show what traditional, what culture, what you can do with it. To talk about your present values. Yes.
I see a lot is happening on the walls.
All these are my books. The beginning from that was actually this was the first book I did. That one, the Mathemboni, and then there is the first one, Unfit for Human Consumption, and then this one, My Dear Bottle. And now, after 4:30, and then Troubles, and then that, and now that's the journey started from that going
all
up
the
to,
way.
all the way.
And in this collection, which one is your favorite one, or your preferred one?
I don't know. I would just say after 4:30 seems to have made because it says very many things, but there are others. This is fiction. In terms of political science, this would be. This is the work that I am proud of having produced. African indigenous political ideology. And no scholar has in Africa has actually come up with a claim that Africans have a political ideology. And I did this. The research took me 15 years. I was doing that on my own.
15 years? When was it first released?
This one is what was it? And I think it must have been 92 or something like that. 1992. I'm not quite sure about that. But what is very important is the time factor. That time I took, and this broken drum is the biggest. Is the biggest work I have done. In fact, when you are asking which is my favorite, I should have said broken drum. This is the longest. I can
see the mass is.
It's nearly 1,120 pages. So-called the longest book in Africa of fiction. So that's part and parcel of what I have been writing.
And also, Prof, I see photos here. I see, is this?
This is me. This is me, and this is my cousin. This was during.
He looks like the current governor of Kajiado.
I see. This is my cousin, and this is me. This was during the burial of my late wife. It wasn't a burial; it was cremation. I did that.
Interesting. I see more photos. Maybe we can even cross over to this side.
Well, the photos over this side. This one is with a friend. Then Then this one is what has meaning. This is this was my wedding.
Okay.
Yes, that's my German wife.
All right.
Then the others, that is me when I was
Oh, Prof,
young.
you looked so young.
Well,
Yeah?
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that must have been 1960.
You have something on your face. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That must have been. I don't know, it must have been either 60s or 64, 65,
Yeah.
or something like that. So that's my wife.
Yeah, your wife.
And then the last. Yes.
Okay, Prof.
Yes.
I have a very interesting space here.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my visitor's book.
Okay.
You will have to sign to show that you have been around.
All right.
Yes.
I'm left-handed, so I'll have
I'll
have to
That's
switch
good.
it there. Yeah.
Have you heard that left-handed people are very intelligent?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a claim. Yes, that's good. Then you also look intelligent.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yes. And
Just now get to put my
yes.
Yeah, my identity here.
Yes, and email, because I'm going to reach you out.
Yeah, that will be very nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, very impeccable, inspirational.
My name is David Maillu. The name, I was given Maillu, that name because I was born without the light pigmentation, and my mother was very frightened. You know, normally African children are born with the light skin, and then of course it changes.
Yeah.
So Maillu means black, and that is my birth name, and so I went to school during colonial times and sat for what I call CAPE, Kenya African Preliminary Examination, in 1958. Yes. And then, so I grew up as any ordinary boy in the village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, after CAPE, as you've called it, this is the education during the colonial era. How did you now transition into university studies?
Yeah.
What came next after CAPE?
That is when I become a weird person, because when I was not taken, I had no place in secondary school. By the way, during our time when we did the CAPE, the entire company, the high school was only one, Machakos boys, and the intake was 45 students. So you can imagine the whole lot of them, there was, even if you passed and you didn't get a place, but I was very much interested in education. So I actually, I started, educating myself through correspondence. So technically, the last time I left, I saw a formal teacher was when I was in Standard 8, and very simply speaking, I did all the other levels up to the farthest through. I'm self-taught, and so I had my high school, whatever else, and university. These were actually self-made things. I did that on my own, but there was a break at one stage. I was not very much interested in the in the paper or in the degree as such, because I didn't want to be employed. I think it was actually during the process of studying and doing correspondence when I discovered that I was actually interested in writing, and because my tutors used to say, you are so good in in dialogue, in anything, so it started developing on that. And at one stage, now when it came to time for me to study, to go to university. Actually, I didn't want to. And one part of it was I was the bread earner of the family, because I was supporting the family. And number two, I didn't want to go to study what they called English literature. I was interested in African literature. So I devised ways of doing it myself, and I did everything. In the long run, my subjects developed into African philosophy. I'm an artist, a literature part of it. I have written in literature. Well, I did the first issue to show that I was very technically interested in. That was writing poetry in my mother tongue at a time when people say, hey, they thought, well, you need to write in English. Poetry is written in English. I wrote a lot of that, and I started writing. So basically my subjects, I write in English, I write in Kikamba, I write in, in Kiswahili, the three languages. Now, at a later stage, just to summarize that, the my friends, I remember one professor is called Professor Gordon Hayden. He used to teach political science in Dar es Salaam. Was the one who told me, please, can you do something about your education? Because anytime we are talking, you seem to have done so much. And then, so the only way I had to do that was I had to use a formula. There are institutions, universities, which handle people of my caliber, because I had written a lot. And so in the end, what the university, and there's one in Australia, where I had now to present my written works and my books and everything, and so that is how I finally they had to look into me. This is where you fit. So my PhD in African literature and political philosophy, that embraces the fields that I was interested in, but the self-education takes you into a very wide field. So that is simply the story of it. That is, I am self-educated. Yes.
And I'm just trying to wrap my head around self-education at a time when Kenya as a nation was under colonial rule. Was this a flexible venture for you, or it also had its challenges?
No, it had very many challenges. Technically speaking, I have never met anyone who had gone through the same system, because it was very difficult. I couldn't, I had to earn some money, pay for correspondence, do that, buy books or whatever, and read the subjects that I was interested in, and without actually limit. And this is where, at a later stage, you discover, I discovered I had done very well, but it's a very, very difficult system. Today, I wonder if I had to go through it, I would say no.
All right. So the nation gains its independence.
Yes.
And years later, you published this book in 1974.
Yes.
The After 430. This book sparked an equal amount of controversy around the country and even in the region, being loved, one, and it also sparked so many opinions and so many questions. How has this particular book, transitioned over the years? And also, I'm assuming it also brought a fair share of troubles, just as fame. How did you go around that, Prof?
I think that After 430 is just one of my books. And if you are a parent, of course, and you have 10 children, the first one, second, third, there are individual likes, and you say this one doesn't look like this and that one. The After 430 was my third book.
All right.
The first one was, I did that in my mother tongue, Kichamboni, and that is actually Kikamba poetry, when the poetry I had been reading over the on radio, and then the second one, when I went now into publishing, was Unfit for Human Consumption, which is a small book which made a terror, terror made people think I was crazy. And then the third one, yes, My Dear Bottle. And now what you are saying, what you are calling After 4:30 was the fourth one. That is by if I had to follow that system. And but the first books, Unfit for Human Consumption, My Dear Bottle, created the scenario, or created the background in which I wrote After 4:30. And I wrote After 4:30 mainly because I wanted to sensitize young people, young girls coming from the countryside. They are being employed in the city, and either they are the boss of an Oxford graduate or something like that. They were manipulated, anything. So I was sensitive about how woman was being taken into the new environment. So that was, and I developed. I thought, why not? I did that to sensitize young people and upcoming women about this is the world you are going to face. And of course, when I wrote that, or when I was writing, I didn't think about that. But one thing I do remember was. My wife looked at, she used, of course, she loved reading whatever I was writing. And the language I used, she was afraid, why are you using that language? I said, is there a word you don't know there? And then I published that, and then it blew up. Yes, then it became that. There are people who still call me After 4:30 because I wrote it.
And I mean, over the years, even from 4:30, is there any preferred or favorite book you have published?
I have written very many books. Sorry for sounding like bragging, but I think I have. I lead in the number of published books in the continent. I have over 80 published books.
Wow.
And so from that perspective, it's very difficult to say this and then, because each one presents itself in a different way. After 4:30, it talks about that, My Dear Bottle, about that. There is another book called, Cardosa and the others, and so I have so many of them. So each one is a very, it's an individual work, but it's talking the same language, and I can't say. The most, the best book I have written is that, and then, but one particular book, for reasons that I don't know, it's called Cardosa. I wrote that, and it was published because a very weird book, and later I wrote, developed them into 7 series. So only Cardosa one, and the other ones are not published. That one, there are stories that sometimes when you are a writer, you write out of inspiration. I don't know what kind of inspiration was, but there are times I became very curious. What did I feel when I was writing Cardosa and the other? And so also After 4:30, so it is, let's say, After 4:30 is a sentence of the what I have been writing. Yes.
You've mentioned something interesting, and allow me to take you back there. You said at some point, even with the book After 4:30, your wife was asking you questions on why you would prefer to use certain language or, certain expressions. And I'm assuming she played a role in criticizing your work in a good way or a bad way. But just take us through that, because I understand she was German.
Yeah. My wife was German.
How
and
did
I'm
you,
saying was
yeah.
because she passed on 4.5 years ago,
All right.
and after a marriage of 50 years. And but she was not really critical as such. She, you know, she got why this? Because traditionally, and you know the tradition, the European literature, where you know hide so behind so many other things. From my traditional background, one would say we call spades spades. Yes, and then you know this is where I now began to divert from the traditional one. My studies on African literature, which I actually did it on my own, at my own level, at you know whatever I wanted, gave me a base in which the most important thing when you are writing is that you have to be understood. Put it in the right words for anyone to understand that. And the language is it's very broad. And the Akamba traditional talk is they were very open, call spades a spades. And I grew up from that background, and of course the English literature as it has been introduced to us, which had been coded with the so-called what we call Christian values, that you shouldn't say that word or something like that. And that I don't belong to that system. So I've been very free to express myself the way I want. And surprisingly, at the time I published, people you know didn't want to hear that word. And this is why most of the books that you hear, they had to read under the table, and the teachers were their enemies. If they ever found you reading that, they got you. And but the interesting part of it is that when they got the book, they went and read it. But they didn't want children to read it. That was it gives me the feeling or the open view that I was broad enough. But then today, 51 years, for example, when people are reading after 4:30, they say, what was it that really made teachers hide that? Because it's real.
Wow, interesting, Prof. But now also allow me to understand the support system that you had throughout the years, from your wife, from your family at the time, from your friends, from, you know, even the people in the publishing spaces. You know, just take us through probably even how you met your wife first, then coming all the way down to now.
The help part of it is absent in the sense that, you know, I was the one to support the family financially, that is so. And then when I met my wife, we met actually in Nairobi. She worked for National Christian Council, and we met there in 1969, and then in 1970 we got married. And but my wife, one thing that she liked was she was proud that I was trying to write. And you know, one has to say it very, very openly. In the Western world, a Mzungu world, a writer is a god, you know. And in our community, huyu mtu anaandika, you know,
it's
not anybody knows that. And that was the level from which I interacted with my wife. Very proud that I was writing that, and why she got very much interested in what I was writing. She didn't write anything, or or even being critical, because it was a different level. And but one of the things that she gave me the moral support that was very, very unusual. Because I was able to write what I wanted to write, say things the way I wanted to say. I don't know how different I would have been if I had got married to anyone else. And I'm not trying to say I lost or I gained, but one particular thing was, you know, really the moral part of it, and the pride that I was a writer and I was writing, and not also from the family. Yeah.
And does writing pay, Prof? Does writing pay?
Well, writing pays, and it doesn't pay. A writer can, you know, can write it throughout your life and, you know, finally end up being poor, or you can write and suddenly become a millionaire or anything. Writing is a very strange issue. It depends on what you write about. Of course, now writing, we are talking about fiction. You know, that is creating works. It can pay, and it has heavily supported me, I would say that. And but I don't want to make the impression that if you want to be a writer, you are going to become a millionaire or something like that. It actually does depend on what kind of work you are writing. For example, if tomorrow anyone comes up and puts after 4:30 or from Mother and Rebecca or into a film, suddenly it goes up. So it does pay. It's a worthwhile venture, but it is not anything which you say I want to go and you know, get money. So it has to be. Give it lifetime things, but it is it does pay spiritually. You feel you are saying something, and it outlives you. Yes.
Wow, interesting, Prof. Along the journey of writing and also, you know, sort of being a trailblazer in penning down interesting stories, you met also one of the celebrated writers who has now gone to be with the Lord, Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o.
Yes.
And I read somewhere that you had inspired him to put his work into his language, which is Kikuyu.
Yes.
First of all, you can even confirm if this is true.
Well, it is true to a certain extent, because I started using and publishing in Kikamba before Ngugi did that. And my first publication, of course, a book, was 1972, when he hadn't touched anything. And that was, you know, that was out of the Kikamba poetry I had been, you know, broadcasting on radio for actually from 69 to 73, a very long time. And so I had been at it for a very long time. At that time, I used to work for KBC. And so I remember one time I met Ngugi wa Thiong'o, you know, at the National Theatre. We interacted, and he had heard a lot about my poetry. And so I remember one time, we while talking, he wanted to know, curiously, how do people respond in this poetry? I said, well, goodness, you are writing always in English, and you haven't written anything in your mother tongue. He said, well, I know. I said, I used those words, and I said, it is good. And I said, for me, writing in my mother tongue, in English and in Kiswahili, you know, languages are very interesting, you know, vehicles or, you know, transport materials. And so he got very interested in the story about writing in mother tongue, in the sense when I challenged him, I would like your mother to read something before, you know, in her language, and not keep on always writing in English. And he took that very seriously. And the next time we met, he told me, I'm trying to do something. That was when he was trying to write Gahikandenda, you know, which I married, you know, when I want. Yeah. And he did that, he was very protective of his own, when he was doing something like that. Okay. He did tell me, we are trying to do something about that. So he did that. Finally, at that time, I had already published something, and he picked up things from there. So to say he got, I influenced him, I would say, well, maybe. that was the start.
Yes. Yeah. Prof, you've also, moving slightly away from the books, you have identified as the president of African spirituality.
Yes.
And so many questions are, revolving around this particular aspect of Prof. Kindly shed more light into that.
Well, yeah, thank you. First of all, I headed a group of scholars to do what today is quoted African Bible, okay, which is actually that one, that's the one called Ka, Holy Book of Netta. And what we did was, scholars, we did that in order to, African spirituality has always been there, but traditionally it had been expressed through, verbally, verbal deliberations, and we felt that we have come of age to give this religion a manual, which is where one can read like either the Quran or the Bible or anything. Yes. We were not fighting against the Bible as such. And so we did that book actually to give that a reading, something that people can read, and to bring it, to update it from the oral tradition. And then after we did that, well, the other scholars somehow, left me alone, and there were 6 of us, and only 2 are living now. Yes. I'm the second one, so 2 of us, and the other gentleman may not. It doesn't take very much interest in that. So the issue of the person who actually was very, very interested in that was a Professor Odag, who said, who saw religion from a different point of view. He was agnostic, didn't believe in, but he saw religion as a very powerful political tool. Okay. And he would want to do anything to use it. And so that book was, child, both of us, and we did that. Now, after that, we are addressing something universal. And writing the book is one thing. What about, putting things on the ground, translating, trying to show people this is what it is? So finally, I was just left the one who is now taking a bearing or holding the flag. And holding the flag means that now I have actually to put down everything in order so that it can be a practical part of it. Right. And unfortunately, when you are a pioneer in anything, you can call yourself anything, either, either so and so, but since the word Africa never called me to be, the president of that or the pope of that, as a pioneer, we have to begin from that. So that is how, I became president of African spirituality in promotion, and to show that we have something. And then the responses have been coming now. I have actually to say this is how you have to do it. And this is one field which has to be developed very much. And you have to understand what we call African religion, African philosophy, anything like that. Yes. If any community which does not, which abandon its faith, it is completely destroyed. Yeah, and in African, what we call African spirituality or religion, politics, whatever it is all one. We do not say politics is, outside that. It's one thing. So I'm actually taking that. And this is finally, I'm taking that from the academic point of view and presenting everything. And what we are having here in Mathemboni is actually so-called today the headquarters of African spirituality. And from there, it will develop to other, in all the other directions. And after me, somebody else will take it up. Yes.
Prof, now that you've mentioned it, I actually hadn't noticed. The Book of Nata.
Yes.
What does it entail? What is inside this particular book?
This is, I don't want to say it's something equivalent to the Bible or the Quran, although one should say that. But I have to quote somebody, the late Professor John Beatty, who actually did a lot, was a theologian and had a very wild name. He kept on saying, talking about the only missing thing in African religion is a text, holy text. Yes. But all the other things has always been there. Nobody came to Africa to teach us, to tell us who God is. Now, when we did that, what we wanted to do is to bring up and write a text that can be used in social situations and deliberations. And so we avoided what we call customary variations, because if you are Kikuyu, Luo or something, there are little variations. Right. But when you talk about fundamental things like marriage, these were, these are typical things. So we actually took the overall, what is very common to all these communities, and there are many people who still believe that African religions are many. No, African religion is one. Yeah, full stop.
Right.
But the variations are there, taken from different directions. So we actually addressed the problems of, the problem, the way we do. Just a very small example. For example, traditionally, when a father is giving away the daughter for marriage, and then it is not like in the Bible you are told that, you go to somebody, a pastor who says blah, 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 and then, and you sign this and you go. Traditionally, there is quite a lot that the daughter is told, or is given the son-in-law or the others, and then we had something like that. So that one is there are positions and areas where that could be used for addressing that particular occasion. So literally, it is a traditional approach of going about our social life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all this, I presume, is under African spirituality.
Yeah, it is.
And even with African spirituality, Prof, you have given a few lectures on something that is not well received by society.
Witchcraft.
Kindly shed more light into that, because people are trying to, wrap their heads around, are you advocating for witchcraft? What do you mean by witchcraft?
Is that, thank you for that question. The white man messed up things. In traditional society, there are three areas which are very distinct. We have what we call a herbalist or a healer, or you may call, but let's use the word healer.
Yes.
This is because medicine is not new in Africa. We have been healing our own people, and then healers are very highly respected people. Then we have diviners. Like diviners are people who are prophetic. They can see the past, the present, like Isiokimau and the others. And these are actually highly respected people, and diviners. And then the third, we have a witch. A witch is anyone who uses any knowledge he has for destructive purposes. Can use whatever method or anything, poison, and that witch. Those have always been anywhere in the world. So Wazungu, so white people saw the three things as one. They said, witchcraft. And this is where they got it wrong. Our healers, our diviners were packaged into that. So that is a that's very important to know.
Okay.
Now, looking at what we call witchcraft, the word witchcraft, basically it means hidden knowledge. Knowledge that may be within a few people. And when you dig, when you go into that, as I have been interested in that, you discover what we call witchcraft. Traditional witchcraft is actually science, you know.
Right.
You are using, it falls within biochemistry and so many other things, metaphysics, and these are things that we are running away because we have been told this is witchcraft. That has been the destruction.
So for you, witchcraft is deeper knowledge.
Deeper knowledge, yeah. Actually, traditionally, knowledge used to belong to the leading group or the top people. And that was, and over the years, of course, it went down, reaching us. But what now? So let me put it this way, the which we are talking about, witches are everywhere. Yeah. Even traditionally today, the medical doctors would pass as witches because they can kill you, they can inject or give you this pill and which will kill you. This is a witch. Yeah, though this is what we mean. This is somebody who is using the knowledge he has to destroy somebody else. But then within divinity is a God-given thing. Medicine is. So this, once we come down into now the package of looking into what we call witchcraft, the hidden knowledge, this is the base of African science, African philosophy, whatever. And this is one area that unfortunately people have run away from.
Yeah, and also along the same lines, I read that you want to propel this further to actualize it as a learning platform for, you know, students in Kenya, if at all they choose to partake it as.
Not only Kenya, actually, this is Africa and the world as such. And I have interest, and I have actually announced that of creating a university of whatever, whether I call it Maillu University of Witchcraft or whatever, but to address that subject. And of course it needs lots of resources. It's unfortunate that people and even the government would not even look into that. But that is the base of our medicine. Yeah. So it's a study of medicine, it's a study of philosophy, it's a study of metaphysics and all that. Now, if we do that, then we are becoming the real ourselves. Yeah.
Interesting, Prof. And speaking of becoming our real selves, as you've spoken, time has transitioned into, you know, into interesting, what do I call it? Sort of ways of doing things, especially when it comes to governance, when it comes to leadership, when it comes to even social interactions. And recently, Prof, you published a book called Push Gen Z, Push Harder. And people were wondering, first of all, this is a deep thinker, this is a great writer. Why at this particular time is he calling for, you know, rather supporting the movement of the Gen Z people?
Well, number one, I'm a writer. Number two, I'm a political scientist. I'm in philosophy. I'm an African, and we have inherited a very primitive structure of government. Yeah, that is it. Everything has, most of our things have been going wrong. Let me just, you know, to highlight one. You are a man. How is it that from primary to university there is no education given on family matters, marriage, everything like that? And then, but at the end of the story, you grow up and get married. This is why actually we are producing people even after graduation. They know nothing. Very if anything, about marriage responsibilities, about social life. It's a very complex thing. In traditional Africa, that was number one. By the time you got married and you knew your place in that, and you did everything. Now we have nothing. But we go there to study history, mathematics, and other things. Look at that particular thing. This is why you are actually seeing now broken homes, people getting married. They don't know what love is, because they have been told somewhere, if you fall in love, this is. But on the ground, they get married today, tomorrow you hear one saying, you are a thief, I don't know you, or who are you, and next, this one is killing the other one. Knowledge there is nothing like that. So how are we developed from the traditional one? This is a very primitive way of taking our own cultural materials. Right. Faith is the other one. We still left that faith there, following another faith. So we have not been truthful to ourselves. Now the young people you are talking about are beginning to realize something is wrong. Why is this happening? Why are the other countries moving and we are not moving? Then they come at home, discover, no, this is a very wrong, this is the wrong thing. Well, basically speaking, we inherited a political structure which we never Africanized, and it is still Western. And now that you have touched that, for example, we had been talking about swearing in courts of law. Right. You go and give somebody the Bible, he lives there and say blah, 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 he swears everything, and so help me God. And when he puts it down, he tells lies like anybody. So he doesn't believe in that one. Now give that person a traditional oath to swear, he will think twice. And if ever he does it, he will speak the truth. So what has gone wrong? This is now the new generation you are talking about are beginning, because we are beginning to see something is wrong somewhere. Right. And so I wrote that book as to give actually a direction, this is what it is, or to answer their call. I'm still coming, that was the beginning. Yeah. But it was, rather than talking about, these are good people, I think a written thing is very important. And after, we launched that book sometime in August, and what's happening, bookshops are saying, I don't want that, I don't want to see, the threat of being kidnapped because you are writing that, you are selling that book. So, but we are still at the same time, the system is trying to make us very primitive, and ignorance is very powerful. Ignorance, and it has its own way of sustaining itself. So when we remain ignorant, then the system can manipulate us. And now the young people are beginning to say, no, this is not true. And so I'm with them, I'm speaking for them, they speak for me. This is the motion.
And Prof, even as you stand on those grounds, do you actually believe that there will be change through the push with the Gen Zs? Yeah. I can, and quote me and take that to the bank. We are going to have a revolution, a social revolution. I'm not talking about a violent one or something like, if anything like that happens, but it is overdue. We cannot have a country being run the way it is where employment is not there, the corruption and the other things, so many other things, and we still clap, God save all, that is not true. Things are wrong, and the revolution has been cooked. It is going to take place. Take that to the bank. And to the bank it will be taken. So, Prof, maybe as we come to a close, what do you think is the future of literature in Kenya? That, again, I have actually to touch on the government. The government is killing
reading culture.
All right.
Killing reading culture is, first of all, we have just a few, booksellers or publishers who are publishing little books for, for reading in schools, academics, and when it comes to general reading, most publishers are not publishing them because it's not paying. A book like, and this is why I actually went self-publishing, because at that time, if I wrote anything, if it didn't fit into the curriculum, then it was not accepted. But writing now, addressing what we call the reading culture. This country it is terrible, and it's not this country alone. The literature part of it needs to be supported. You know what the British people do when a book like that is published? They advertise. It goes even in embassies everywhere. Now you can publish your book and it stays there. Who is interested in that? It is not known. And so to address that thing, we have actually to develop reading culture by publishing the right material and making people develop the reading culture. An example, go to the airport. We have an airport there. When you are going, there isn't a place where you can buy a book and go reading. In many other places, the books are not there. How can we, now it is a shameful to talk about the libraries we have at Kenya National Library, the other one with Macmillan or something like that. Goodness, and visit them and see what happens. We should have so many libraries everywhere. In the entire Ukambani I don't know of a big one or one which you can be proud of. In so many other places, this is what is happening. So that has to, if we need that, and we cannot compete with Wazungus and the other people when they are reading and we are not reading. What you are saying, literature is part and parcel of development. We are developing. You are talking about after 4:30. What I said, this is a social dialogue. We did that. It helps many people. And unless we speak, this is where are we going? How can we have a system like that? What we put into what is happening now is go to many places where you come from. So many bars are opening every now and then. Number two, churches opening everywhere or something like that. What is it that we are doing? Tell me. You go to Europe, other places like that, and this is not what you find. You find people who read, who get information, who share information. And so this is partly why I'm interested in the development of the community, and I would want to do whatever can be done let's move forward. We should be actually serious. And then the other thing is, we are talking about literature, whatever field you are talking about. We have created people who are full of fears. If I do this, I'm going to be persecuted, or the fear is sold everywhere. And then, of course, we go back. Lack of creativity. It's not there. Up to now, I'm not bringing on board politics. Why 60 years from now, why should we be importing bicycles? Just an example. And so many other things. Is it that we can't think? And if we start thinking now, and this is what the young generation is saying, we'll make the world go.
Wow. So encouraging the learning culture.
Yes.
Wow, thank you, Prof. Let me finish with a very personal question, one that might pique your mind, a little bit deeper. But Prof, you have been alive for over 8 decades now. You have seen seasons transitioning, generations transitioning. And Prof, allow me to ask you this: are you content with the man you have become?
The man have become.
Yeah. Are you happy with who?
Very much on behalf of the people, because I've been very open, yes, saying things which have helped some people to discover themselves. So I could give myself that little credit. And I would say, not that I want to be invited at the State House, because I don't think there is anything else. At one stage, I did also provoke somebody. I said, I have been invited in the White House here in America. Mm-hmm. I've never been invited in the local one here, what we have. But this is not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying I'm proud of the little that I have actually shared with people, and I would like to do much more. It has been actually, literally speaking, as a self-sacrifice. I'm proud of what I have done up to now, and I'm very active. I'm still, doing more and more until the energy. I don't have the energy, but I still have it.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time,
yes,
and for giving us insights and words of wisdom as well, and also allowing us to peek into your life and into your works.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Asante sana.
Yes.
All right.